All right, let's talk about Pixar. We all know the movies, right? But the story of how Pixar came to be is just incredible. It's not just about animation, it's this wild ride involving tech, near bankruptcy, and a handful of brilliant minds who completely changed Hollywood. Because that's the thing, that's exactly what they were. Before there was a Woody or a Buzz, there was this group of computer geeks with a dream so big, so out there, it almost destroyed them. So yeah, let's get into it. So where does a story like this even begin? Well, you might be surprised to hear it doesn't start in some colorful animation studio. Nope. It starts deep inside the empire of George Lucas, with a small, super smart team of computer wizards. Okay, so let's trace this journey. It all kicks off in '79. Lucasfilm creates this division called the Graphics Group. A few years later, in '84, they're already making these little animated shorts. But here's the game changer, 1986. Steve Jobs, fresh off being pushed out of Apple, sees the future in this little group. He buys them for $5 million, puts in another $5 million, and boom, Pixar is born. By 1991, they've got a massive deal with Disney. The rocket was on the launch pad. But get this, and this is the part that blows my mind, they weren't trying to make movies at first. They were a hardware company. They were trying to sell this absolute unit of a machine, the Pixar image computer, for $135,000 a pop. It was a total flop financially, but you know what? It kept the lights on. Just barely. So the computer business is failing. They're running out of money, running out of time. They had one card left to play. It was time to go all in on that original crazy dream, making the world's first feature-length computer animated film. This was literally a do or die moment. And you have to understand, this massive gamble was basically funded by one person's faith. Steve Jobs poured $50 million of his own money into Pixar over the years. He kept the dream alive with his checkbook and his belief in the team, all before they had a single hit to their name. And wow, did that bet pay off. Toy Story was made for $30 million, and it brought in almost $400 million worldwide. It wasn't just a success, it was an absolute monster hit. It saved the company, basically created a new industry, and made Pixar a household name overnight. Now, the success of Toy Story wasn't just about technology or luck. It was about their culture. During the tough production, they created something they called the Braintrust. It's simple, but radical. Instead of studio executives giving notes from on high, the filmmakers themselves, the directors, the writers, critiqued each other's work with brutal, constructive honesty. This became their secret weapon. So, they've got a huge hit, they've got the Braintrust culture locked in. What happens next? Well, they enter what you can only call a golden age. They were about to go on one of the most incredible winning streaks in movie history. I mean, just look at this list. It's ridiculous. Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, WALL-E, Up. We're talking Rotten Tomatoes scores in the high 90s, and every single one won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. This was a level of quality and consistency that Hollywood had just never seen before. And you better believe everyone else noticed. In 2004, things got a little tense with Disney, and Pixar started looking at other potential partners. This quote from Warner Bros. Says it all. Every studio in town was lining up, hoping to get a piece of that Pixar magic. Which brings us to this really complex, central relationship in the Pixar story, the one with Disney. It started as a simple deal, but it would eventually lead to one of the biggest buyouts in entertainment history. So you really have to look at the before and after here, because the power dynamic completely flipped. In the beginning, Disney held all the cards. They owned the characters, the sequel rights, everything. But after the acquisition, the tables were turned. Pixar's creative geniuses were suddenly put in charge of revitalizing Disney's own animation studio. And Steve Jobs, he became Disney's biggest single shareholder. The student had become the master. And what was the price tag for this creative powerhouse? A mind-blowing $7.4 billion. Just think about that. From a tiny computer graphics group to a $7.4 billion company. What a journey. All right, so you've been bought for billions. Story over, right? Not even close. Pixar was now entering a brand new chapter, one filled with new pressures, like the demand for sequels and the explosion of streaming. And I think this is so cool. You can get a peek inside their process by looking at the films that didn't get made. They had a movie about newts that got canceled because it was too much like the movie Rio. They were even planning a huge live-action disaster movie.
It just shows you how many ideas they explore and how tough the decisions can be.
And while they were still making original films, they also realized they had a goldmine on their hands: sequels. And man, were they successful. 5 of their movies have now joined that very exclusive billion-dollar club. People just couldn't get enough of these characters.
Then, of course, the whole world shifted. Streaming became king. And to build up Disney Plus, some of Pixar's most beautiful original films, like Soul, Luca, and Turning Red, skipped the movie theater entirely. It was a huge change in strategy for the studio.
And that's where we are today. It all leads to this one big question. In a world dominated by franchises and streaming services, can Pixar still capture our imaginations with something completely new and original? Can that magic strike again? I guess we'll have to wait and see.